Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I did not realize I wasn't live. So if anybody wants to talk with me, you're welcome to tune in. Again, my name is Benjamin Sleester, and I just wanted to use this as a get to know you sort of a thing for people that I well that are either subscribed to me or are friends of my friend and YouTube mentor, Thomas Huffman. All right, let's see here. Oops, hold on. Okay. Oh, why, hello there. Here. Well, sorry if I got a little itchy with the keyboard fingers there, but it's just I am still relatively new at this, and I'd like to. Oh, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Well, all right. Hello there. Here. If anyone else is able to come onto the camera with me, I would like to do so now so that we can actually hear people talk now. Other, other than that, I just basically had this open up, and this is an open up chat session, and whatever people want to talk about, that's fine. I didn't really prepare anything. Okay, let's see. Um, Shift. There we go. Shift. Okay. All right. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Um, Anybody there? Sorry, let's see. Uh, Sorry, Ari, I'm not being more talkative. I'm still new at this. Um, okay, thank you. Now, like I said, I'm Ed. I would like to be able to actually hear people talking to me, so if somebody would like to try and get on it in here, I would appreciate that. Oh, okay, okay. Hold on. All right, I didn't realize that. Hold on, just a minute. Okay, I've copied the link and I um have posted it to my regular channel, so hopefully that's enough. Um, I hope. Other than that, we'll just wait and see. So, um, how's everybody doing? Okay. Um, well, I don't know if you can hear any snoring in the background, but that's probably my dog because she's getting on in years and she likes to take a nap in my chair a lot of the time. Well, okay. Okay, sorry, this is awkward. I know. um, okay. Movie fan, I guess. Was posting link the link for this into the regular or stuff on YouTube enough, or do I have to figure out how to get to you guys via messenger or email? Okay, and I just shared the link into each of y'all's channels if that helps too. All
Hello.
right. Hello. Well, nice to meet you, movie fan. Thomas, aka Alpha Lion Simba, has told me a lot about you.
Oh yeah, you told me a lot about you too.
Yeah, well, it's fine. It's nice to finally, quote unquote, meet you in person.
Nice to meet you.
So I'm sorry, but I didn't really plan anything for this. So this was kind of just a open ends thing to try and get to know some of my friends' YouTube buddies. So I
That's all
didn't
good.
really have a plan.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, well, so anyway, I just recently watched you guys's is guilty pleasures video, and I found that to be very interesting. You've got lots of good things to say.
Oh yeah, yeah, we sure do, and
Yeah,
even a few bad ones.
yeah. Well, unfortunately, I have the the confession I have to make is that when I was in school, I had a lot of I was basically accused of liking every single movie, whether it was good or not,
Uh,
which was actually a accurate uh, accusation.
it could be worse. You could be hating every single movie,
Yeah,
like
I've
Cinema
heard
Sins.
yeah, I haven't heard good things about Cinema Sins from Thomas.
You won't hear any from me either. Those guys are movie haters. They ridicule what they don't understand, with one exception, and that'd be the Godzilla 2014 film.
Hmm.
But that was only because all they did there was basically literally say every complaint that everybody made about the movie. So, that's different.
Okay. Well, sorry, but the speaker on my computer isn't up to full strength, so I'm gonna have to quick see if I can up the volume just a little bit because I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
Oh dear.
What?
Oh dear. Sorry to hear that.
Well, it's not us. It's the speakers.
Yeah, technology
Yeah, I know.
never fails.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for being willing to do this, even though I know it's probably eating up into you and other people's time.
Oh, that's okay. Wasn't doing much anyway.
Okay, that's good because, well, like I said, Ed, I've heard so much about you and Bonnie and some of the other people that that I wanted to get to know you, so hence why we're here right now.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah, I don't know if the others will be able to make it. I mean, their schedules are a little tighter than mine, so who knows? But
Well, that's okay. You got to start somewhere. And
that's true.
another one of the people I'm subscribed to, Osvaldo Diaz, is here also, so that counts
Hmm.
for something.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So let me see here. As I recall from when I've now, please excuse me, am not very, I'm kind of new to the whole YouTube who names thing. So if I refer to, so please bear with me as I refer to our friend as by his real name instead of Alpha Lion Simba.
It's all good.
Okay. So, well, I, oh, sorry, just more noise in the background from my dog snoring. She's she's getting to be an old lady.
Oh, oh.
We,
What kind of dog?
Labrador Spaniel mix. We've had her since she was a puppy in 2012.
Oh, wow.
Her name's Lola.
Oh, that's a nice name.
Yeah, we also have some cats here too. One that's officially our cat, the other one a stray that we sort of adopted.
Hmm.
By the
Yeah.
way, how are I've noticed you have pets too. How are they doing?
Oh, they're doing good. Brownie's busy sleeping, so is Jake. He's the other dog. And George, well, he's milling around here somewhere. I don't know what he's up to. I never can tell with him. That cat's as crazy as it gets.
I under I understand that. Even though he doesn't, my cat Luca has a habit of getting into things he shouldn't also.
Oh, yeah. George does that all the time.
Yeah, unfortunately that's to be expected with cats, I'm afraid. And
Yep.
I'm speaking not just from the experience of owning one, but prior to the one I have right now, I used to work at my town's humane society, and we had to take care of at least 200 cats while we were there.
Hmm. It's a lot of felines.
Yep. And
Oh,
it was a lot of stress too.
oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, but anyway. So, another one of the reasons why I wanted to have this post was because I was thinking these group live streams that you and the Thomas and the others do, I have some ideas for some of them and would like
Oh,
to take part in those at some point.
well, it's up to everybody else as well, but I don't see why not if possible.
Well, there is one, and oh, first of all, before I continue any further,
Hmm.
I'm not, I'm not boring or wasting your time, am I?
No. No, not
Okay,
really.
okay, that's good, because that's one thing I want to make. That's one thing I want to make sure is that when I'm talking into people, that I'm making good use of their time and
Hmm.
being a good conversationalist.
No, that's all right.
So, anywho, um, as you as you who saw from my one of my videos that I made, and from the comments I made when you guys did the Don Bluth review,
Mm,
I'm pretty good as an artist.
yeah,
So hope you and everybody else enjoyed those.
definitely.
Thank you. And I hope I don't know if y'all are subscribed to me or not, but
I
I
am. I don't
oh,
know about the rest though.
well, that's very nice of you. That's very nice of you.
Yeah,
And
welcome.
I hope I hope the what have your thoughts been in more detail on some of my more recent videos?
I thought they were pretty good actually. Usually, I try not to get into too bigger details with other people's channels because I'm in no position to tell people what to do. Because there's so many out there, and everybody has their own style, and who am I to judge how how they do their own thing?
Yeah.
But I would say what you got going on, it's pretty good. I
Thank
say if
you.
it works for you, keep it up.
Thank you.
That's my advice, really, when it comes to these things. Because for a while, I know Alpha he did his little movie reviews, and now he's doing animals, and that's really working out for him.
Yep.
For, for me, I
Well,
stick with what I got: movies and Power Rangers, especially.
yeah. Well, that
Glitch. Nothing worse than when these things glitch out. Never fails. I don't know what it is.
but as far as Power Rangers are concerned, I'm afraid you've lost me there.
Oh, it's okay. You wouldn't be the first to say that, and you won't be the last. So,
Yeah. Well, unfortunately for me, it's not entirely by choice that I'm not a fan of Power Rangers. My
oh,
mother discouraged me from watching it when I was a kid.
oh, that's too bad.
Well,
Eh,
she had her reasons, and I can't blame her. But I but as far as other things are concerned, yeah, I'm definitely into the movies.
Yeah, yeah. I just wish modern movies would be as good as the old stuff. Unfortunately.
You are absolutely right. And
Well, my
you are
bro's here. I'm
absolutely right.
surprised.
What?
My bro Skystub has joined us.
Oh, well, hello to you. Anywho,
Hmm.
I, and also because of my, as you've probably noticed, I'm a big fan of TV shows
Hmm.
also.
Yep.
Some of which some of which are definitely not geared towards people our age.
Well, the way I see it, a lot of TV shows are meant for everybody, regardless. So, heck, I'll still watch cartoons. So, who am I to judge?
Yeah, cartoons and nature documentaries and vet and zoo shows. That's what I watch.
Hmm.
And I I like I said in the video, like I said when I made the video, apologize that I didn't add I apologize that I didn't add the entirety of theme songs for every single character on my top Disney Channel heroes
Hmm.
list, but I added the ones that I thought would work.
Hmm.
Something wrong?
No, no, no. It's just interesting response. My bro, he's always got a few things to say.
Oh,
He said he's seen your channel and it's impressive.
why, thank you very much.
Yep. And he
That's
says
very nice of you.
everyone has their taste and word and worlds. He got it from Matlock. Pretty good quote.
That is a good quote,
Yeah.
even though I don't watch Matlock.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Like I
you know,
said, I'm more of a cartoon and animals film kind of guy. I don't watch a lot of the adult stuff. And actually, that is very nice of you to say, Ozzy. I I think that those I think that that quote was creative also.
hmm
Um so oh, I just got my train of thought back. One suggestion I one suggestion I was thinking of for doing stuff in the future was
oh,
one that I thought maybe you, me, and Thomas could do together since all three of us know this pretty well.
hmm.
A review of the TV show version of Redwall.
Oh, that would be awesome. I'm going to write that one down.
Mm-hmm. Because and I could give you all kinds of insight right, that could be helpful too, because I happen to own the entire book series here in my personal library, and
Hmm.
I've read pretty much every single one of them.
Oh, that's awesome. And I'm a history buff, so that's always helpful. That's one of the things I loved so much about the series, that they really incorporated in a way, some actual history, because they were being fairly accurate as to, how things were back then, especially the educational side. When they would, after the show was done, after the episode was done, they would talk about stuff like that. That
Oh,
was always awesome. And to have interviews with the author himself, that was pretty cool too.
yeah, I didn't catch that part. I only
Really?
caught the episodes.
Oh. Hmm.
Well, the reason for that is my first introduction to it was via the DVDs. I
Uh,
never had the fortune of watching it live on television.
yeah, they had it on PBS for quite a while. I think about 3 or 4 years, even after they were done with it. They kept doing syndication for a little bit because of the educational value.
Yeah.
But then they moved on to other stuff, and right now it's kind of debatable as to whether or not it's any good. Depends what you're watching, but yeah.
Hmm. And I have said it in comments on some of you, and I've said it in comments on, especially when you did that "Can It Be Saved"
Oh
movie
yeah, that was a
thing,
fun one.
"Can It Be Saved" movie thing, that
Yep.
I have tons of books in my library, admittedly most of them animal fantasy, that I think would be great movies.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few that sadly has never been turned into movies, and all this remake business.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
know.
but anyway, moving
That
on from
said,
that.
what'd you say?
Anyway, I'm just saying, moving on from that, because I don't want to get into that riff. I always do. So,
Well, okay. Sorry
uh,
about that.
oh no, it's okay. It's just a bad habit. I remember those parts, and I never missed any of it. Yeah, that's true. I believe he's referring to the
Yeah.
red wall parts. So, the history in that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. And I just love that show because I just love that show in the book series because with all the well, as an animal lover, that kind of story is what
hmm
I love the most, even though it's beyond my age range now.
Well, it was beyond my age range when I was watching it originally, so it's all good. And they had some really good, colorful characters in quite a good way.
Uh-huh. But yeah, I totally agree with you. And I'm actually in the process of getting Thomas is reading in the Redwall books, and I have introduced him to all three seasons of the show.
hmm Yeah.
And so far he seems to quite like it.
Oh yeah. There's a lot to like there. Hmm?
Yep. And I know you've and I know you've probably and I want to make one thing clear for when I'm making my countdowns on heroes and villains lists. I am not grading the characters based on opinions, powers, or anything like that. I'm grading
Hmm.
them based on my opinion on how and of how heroic or how evil they are.
That's a good way to roll.
Because, well, let's just say I watch a lot of Wicked and that's kind of been a motivator for me.
Oh yeah. I know what you mean. I know I've had a few motivations from other sources. All depends on where it comes from.
Yeah, that totally it totally does. And I I like what you said too, Skies Dub, about history and science. History, animal science, and art were my topics in school. The
Hmm.
one topic that I absolutely could not stand was math.
Hmm. It's always been my worst enemy.
Yeah, I know, right? Math, it sucks.
Sure does.
Yeah. Anyway, uh, what's that about? One thing I have great dislike is the pure inaccuracies. What's that about? Out.
Hmm. What do you mean by
Oh,
that, bro?
what?
Well, I'm just asking Sky's Dub. He's my brother from another mother, so to speak, of course.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's how I feel about Thomas.
hmm, yeah,
But yeah, I get you. I hate math is the worst subject you could possibly get from head out of school.
it has its purpose, but yeah,
Yeah, but anywho,
inaccuracies of history and science. Oh, that's what he means.
okay, I get it now. I get it now. Uh, hold on a minute. Need to I need to get something out of my way real quick.
Hmm.
Oh, there we go. That's better.
Ah,
Like anywho, so back on the subject of the Redwall show. Um, I would have to say that definitely out of all the characters, my favorite would definitely have to be Matthias.
hmm, yeah, he's a good, likable character, definitely. Of course, I've
Yeah,
always been a sucker for Basil Stagg hair.
that would be Thomas too. He loves Basil.
I think it's his witty charm and pretty much the way that Brian Jenks had him created. As he said in the educational part where they interviewed him, he talked about Basil, and he actually got inspiration from an old soldier that he knew when he was I can't remember if it was when he was a kid or when he was younger, one of the two, but it was years ago. Yeah, he was an old World War. Oh, sorry. Every time I say World War One, I presume he it always slurs out like that. Anyway, I presume it was that war, but he was never very clear on it. But he had a big mustache. Always said things like "Hey, what," that sort of thing. So that's what kind of makes me think the First World War. But yeah, that was his inspiration. Someone he actually knew. So that's
Yep,
how that happened.
a lot of great authors pull stuff for their books from things that they knew in their life. And I
Mac
have
Brown, who did Arthur, had gotten inspiration from people he knew for his characters.
interesting.
Hmm.
I only watched bits and pieces of Arthur.
Hmm.
My main stuff on PBS was Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and
Yeah.
Between the Lions.
Hmm. Well, who didn't grow up with Sesame Street or Mister Rogers? But me, it spread out a good some. Reading Rainbow was always a big one for me. That was a good show.
What was that last one? I'm sorry.
Oh, Reading Rainbow, that was always a good one.
Oh, yeah, that's
The,
good too.
the real crying shame was them canceling it the way they did.
Ah,
I mean, the
I
show
also
was. I'm
oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
I also liked Clifford the Big Red Dog on PBS.
Yeah, the only problem was that John Ritter died, so there was no
Ah,
one who could replace him.
yeah, I get that. There there are so many times when you get good voice actors that they leave such an impression that you can't possibly imagine anybody else doing it.
Not just voice actors, regular actors as well. For instance, let's take Robert Englund, who played Freddy Krueger for ever since the beginning. Well, when they remade the movie, it didn't go very well. Part of it was because of how they changed everything, and especially the makeup job, and they plastered CG on him to make his burns look whatever compared to the original makeup job that Robert Englund was given. That was part of the problem. The other part was Robert Englund is so synonymous with the character that no one could think of anybody else, and that's the truth.
Yep. Well, pardon me for leaning in so close to the camera. It's just that,
The speakers?
again, speaker not working properly, and I have a very bad earwax problem, so I don't hear as well as I should.
Let's see what he said. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. Didn't see the Clifford the Big Red Dog. Yeah. Watch the movie though.
No, he said he didn't bother to watch the movie
Oh,
of Clifford the
yeah.
Big Red Dog.
Well, to me, it didn't look like much because it looked like it was completely different from what it really was, from what I could tell. So I didn't bother either. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but
that makes sense,
yeah,
and that's why I don't watch a good number of the Disney remakes, because I don't like to watch things that deviate from what I grew up with.
yeah, I hear you. One of the biggest problems when people try to do stuff like that, make movies off of old stuff like TV shows and that, they always forget that. Well, sorry, people always forget that when Hollywood's going to get their claws into something, they change it no matter what. So, yeah, I don't know. The problem is, I don't know why people seem to think that they're always going to turn out like what they did back then, because they don't. They never do. It's just when you get a different director, all of a sudden they want to do it too. So, I don't know. Transformers, yes. I'm looking forward to that too, bro. I actually want to see that because I loved Beast Wars. And I want to see how this turns out.
Well, I don't I don't watch Transformers, but I do consider it a personal victory that after a long time of not watching them, I have finally become a fan of the MCU.
That's pretty cool.
And
That's pretty cool.
I've actually watched all of the movies except for Quantumania and the new Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. I've been kind of back and forth on that, to be honest, because, well, I prefer the old TV shows. That's what it comes down to. Especially Spider-Man the Animated Series from the 90s. That was superb. It really was. You'd have to see it to understand. But I do love the Venom movies because they were done right this time, compared to Spider-Man 3, where we get Eric Foreman playing Venom, which was the worst idea in history.
Well, again, I was not into superhero films a whole lot, so you kind of lost me there.
That's okay. Yeah.
But
So,
but as far as the but thanks thanks in part to my love of Disney Channel and also
mhm.
efforts from Thomas, I did get into two superhero-ish type characters from Disney Channel:
Oh, what would that
Darkwing
be?
Duck and
Oh
Kim
yeah.
Possible.
I couldn't get into Kim Possible, but Darkwing Duck I really loved. And in fact, J- I'm actually going to meet Jim Cummings in a month because he's come to a Comic Con and I'm going to go get his autograph. Yeah,
Wow. Now that is something.
I know. I never thought I'd run into him. I mean, a guy who's played so many legendary characters: Darkwing Duck, Winnie the Pooh, Tigger. Let's see. He voiced Scar, well, for a little bit anyway. Well, I'm sure you know the story. Now, let's see. What else? He was in. Well, he was in so many. It's hard to count them all. He's played
Yeah.
Pete the cat for a while. Pete.
Only because of as my sister likes the Pete the Cat books.
Well, but yeah, he the quintessential original villain of Disney. So that's him. That's
Yep.
Pete.
Yep. I also I don't I only I started watching a lot of the Disney afternoon shows on YouTube actually,
Hmm.
way before Disney Plus came out.
That's always good.
But I don't have, and I actually do have the DVD version of one of the Disney afternoon shows right here at my home.
Oh, sweet.
What?
Oh, sweet, sweet. That's really good. Ow, stupid headphones. There we go. This,
Anyway,
this, sorry. This
the
stupid
show
thing
that
has a short cord, so
yeah, the show that I have in DVD format is Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
that was a good show. Come to think of
Yeah,
it, wasn't Jim Cummings the voice to Fat Cat?
and Professor Nimnall.
I thought so. Yeah.
Hold please. What, Mom? Oh, thank you. Sorry, that was my mom letting me know that she had let my dog out and that she had come down for bedtime.
Oh, it's all good.
Because, yeah, even though I'm 25, I'm still not ready to leave home yet.
It's okay. It's all good. I mean, in this day and age with inflation and all that, well, it's tough out there for everybody. So,
Yeah, but
mm,
but yeah, Jim Cummings in Rescue Rangers. He was the voice of Fat Cat and Professor Nimnall,
yeah, awesome.
and he definitely ranks as one of my favorite voice actors of all time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Same here. I got a few. Him. Let's see. There's Jim Cummings. There's Paul Frees. He did a lot of great work.
I'm
Mostly.
familiar with his work,
Hmm.
especially from the Rankin Bass Christmas
That's it.
specials.
Yep. He was in just about every one of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh, I don't think he was in Rudolph.
Well, like I said, just about. So, but let's
Okay.
see. Uh, I don't think he was in. Well, I don't think he was in Here Comes Peter Cottontail. I don't remember him being in there.
No, no.
He
But that
wasn't.
was the
Oh, sorry.
that
Go ahead.
Here Comes Peter Cottontail was the only film apart from the Muppet Show that I knew who Bonnie's favorite actor Danny Kaye from.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. Of course, for me, the one of my favorites with Danny Kaye would have to be White Christmas. That's a classic. And
Okay.
if they ever try to remake that, I'm gonna lose it. But anyway,
Sorry. One thing I had to admit real quick is I s- I lost it when I lost it. I burst out laughing when you did your hate review on Fairly Odder Parents. Your reaction was just hilarious. Um, you froze. I You froze. I can't see ya.
Huh. That was weird.
Yeah, but did you hear what I said?
Well, I heard about Fairly Odder Parents. I remember that. I caught that, but anything afterwards, I don't think so.
I was just saying that when I watched your hate review on and you had your big reaction,
Oh yeah, that one.
I admit that I lost it laughing.
Well, that's okay. I would expect that of anybody, really, because I mean, oh my god, it was gut wrenchingly horrible and painful to watch. It really was.
Hmm. I was there
Yeah.
when you did that live stream playing an episode, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, for the love of Pete.
Yeah, and that was nothing like the show was. I'm sure that.
Absolutely not.
No, and I don't. Are you familiar with the original series?
Oh yeah,
Okay, then.
I watched it a lot as a kid.
Yeah, same here. And I wasn't a kid at the time either, but I watched it because it was entertaining. Because anyway, yeah, uh, at least they got the animation right on Cosmo, Wanda, and Jorgen. And Jorgen's character was definitely spot on. He was that kind of guy. He loves
Hmm.
pain. He loves to cause pain. That sort of thing. And yeah, Cosmo's a big dope, but the whole thing was ridiculous. I mean, really, let's go, let's go, let's go. And it's like, shut up. Seriously. And everything else that happens afterwards is absolutely ridiculous. My friend Professor Dreamer actually told me about a few things afterwards, and I looked them up, and oh boy. Having Vicky and Mr. Crocker together teaming up to try to catch fairies. She
Um,
never knew anything about them.
excuse me for a second.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm with you. Exactly. It was ridiculous. Absolutely
Yeah,
ridiculous.
and believe it or not, I don't know if you saw it. Well,
Hmm.
you probably have because you're subscribed to me. But when I made my countdown of known of top 100 TV show villains of all time, I actually rated Vicky as worse than Mr. Crocker.
Yeah, that's true. At least Mr. Crocker just tries to capture fairies and he gives you F's all the time. Vicky's a torture master. She
Mm-hmm.
tortures kids.
Yep. She's the kind of she's the kind of person that I would have thrown in the deepest, darkest this dungeon and throw away the key.
Ain't that the truth? That is the truth.
Yep. But Fairly Odd Parents wasn't the only show I watched a lot on Nickelodeon.
Hmm.
I was also a big fan of SpongeBob, Tough Puppy,
That was
Kung
a good
Fu
show.
Panda, Legends of Awesomeness,
That was good too.
The Penguins of Madagascar,
That was an awesome show.
and Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius.
I wasn't too into that, but I thought it was a pretty cool show. Planet Sheen was kind of but it had its good points, so.
Yeah.
But what do you expect a spin-off,
Planet Sheen, I didn't bother with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree with you on Legends of Awesomeness, The Penguins of Madagascar, and Tough Puppy.
Yeah,
Though,
they were great shows.
yeah, although, and actually, if you and the others ever do a impressions video again, yours truly is very good with impressions.
I'll definitely keep that in mind. I don't know if that'll ever happen anytime soon, though. Can't promise anything. But
Well,
I'll
that's
keep that in mind.
okay.
So,
That's okay. Um, I don't suppose you now. I I know that you're not a fan of certain pop culture films, but I did, if I'm not mistaken, you are a fan of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, right?
oh, yeah, they're great.
Well, then, I have a little impression treat for you in the audience here that you might find interesting.
Hmm.
I can make my voice sound like Smaug from the Hobbit films.
Oh, this I gotta see.
The king under the mountain is dead. I took his throne. I ate his people like a wolf among sheep. I kill where I wish, when I wish. My armor is iron. No blade can pierce me.
Nice. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I practiced that quite a bit, and I can other impressions that I'm good at are I can sound like Gru from Despicable Me
Hmm.
and certain other villainous characters.
Oh, I'm sure there's a few dozen in there somewhere.
Yeah. And actually, back on the Jimmy Neutron subject, I've been practicing a little bit and I can modify my voice to sound like Tim Curry's performance as Jimmy's arch nemesis, Professor Calamitous.
Oh, him. The one who can't finish a sentence.
Yep. I've got all of Professor Calamitous's his lines from his debut episode remembered.
Oh, sweet.
Like, for example, "You're an extraordinary fellow, Mr. Boy Genius. Well, prepare to meet your oh whatever.
Yep, that's him, all
ah,
right.
ah.
Yep, he's always forgetting to finish a sentence.
Actually, in one episode of season 2, I think it was, Operation Rescue Jet Fusion, he actually started taking self-help classes
Oh,
that helped him correct that problem, and he started speaking in complete sentences again.
oh, good for him. I do
Of
remember
course,
the first episode. He did actually say one sentence when Jimmy's dad, since he was the chimney sweep. Do you sing and dance? That costs extra. He finished that sentence because he
yep,
didn't want to do it.
yep. But yeah, he said after he captured Jimmy, that he had taken self-help classes and shock therapy to help him with finishing better.
Oh,
But
awesome.
of course, he didn't finish. He didn't go to the last class.
Oh, of course. Still didn't do it. Oh boy.
Yep. And his evil plan in that episode was to take over the world by melting the snow on Mount Everest. Course he didn't think of what would happen after that, though.
Oh, of course. Oh dear. Guess that's what happens when you can't finish things. You don't think ahead either.
Well, unfortunately, though, in my opinion, even bumbling geniuses even bumbling evil geniuses can still be big threats.
Oh yeah, they can be. All depends on what they do.
Professor Calamitous isn't the example of that I came up with. Another example is Dr. Draken from Kim Possible.
Oh yeah, that's true. He's a bumbling idiot.
But still dangerous.
Yeah, he is. Yep, he definitely is.
Mm-hmm. But also, and also again with the Redwall stuff, I have to give I know he had his heart in the right place, but in season 1, I have to give Father Abbot Mortimer "you stupid idiot" points in a lot of areas.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because, for one thing, in episode 6, he thought that surrendering to Clooney would end the bloodshed. No, like Matthias said, Clooney would just accept their surrender and enslave everybody, and that would lead to infinitely more bloodshed.
Yeah, that's true. Say not to mention him falling for trick, like in the first episode, falling for the trick that supposedly they're just weary travelers. No, definitely not. They were
Mm-hmm.
definitely not that.
Yeah, and that's actually one difference from the book, because in the book it wasn't Clooney had his entire army marched up to the gates, and and the Redwallers took precautions to make sure that they didn't go in with weapons. Matthias even told Clooney to wrap his tail around his waist so that it couldn't be used.
Wow.
Because as those of us who have seen the show or read the books know, Clooney's tail was just as much a weapon as everything else he had.
Yep.
And
Sure
because
was.
and actually I there is one thing in the 13th episode of season 1 that I know happened that wasn't shown there.
Hmm.
It's never shown how Father Abbot Mortimer was mortally wounded in the 13th episode,
Yeah.
but I know exactly how it happened in the book, and I
Hmm.
translate that as to happening off screen in the TV show.
Hmm.
And the way
Yeah.
it happened was Clooney struck him with his tail.
Makes perfect sense.
And the reason why the abbot was dying was because, number one, Clooney struck him several times with his tail, and that metal barb on the end of his tail
Yeah.
was poisoned.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yep. It was even shown in the book at one point that Clooney used that poison barb on his tail to kill one of his rats just for not marching correctly
Hmm.
during training exercises.
Makes perfect sense to me. Sounds like the way he would handle things.
Mm-hmm. And the book also describes one other thing about his backstory,
Oh.
how he lost his eye.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The way Clooney lost his eye, both in the book and in the TV show, was that he got into a fight with a pike.
Hmm.
You know what a pike is, right?
The fish, right?
Yeah, it's a type of fish with razor sharp teeth. The
Yeah.
pike got its jaws in and
Ooh.
tore his eye clean out.
Wow.
Clooney lost an eye, but the pike lost its life.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Kind
And
of
that's
sounds
why
like
in
Moby
my
Dick in a way, doesn't it?
what?
Kind of sounds like Moby Dick in a way, sort of.
Yeah. Except the pike died and Ike died and it didn't take Clooney with it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
But definitely there was a reason why when I made my animal fantasy and TV show lists that
Mhm.
Clooney got high rankings on the list, because
Hmm.
he is probably the most vicious rat I've ever seen in a fiction story.
He would be.
I think he'd even make Professor Ratigan look like a nice guy.
You know, he just might. At least Professor Ratigan, he keeps people alive unless they upset him. Or unless it's Basil.
Yeah. Yeah. Clooney would probably kill you on sight or keep you alive long enough to torture you.
Yeah, that'd be his style. Hey, George.
Hey,
Yep.
hello there. I've seen you
Quite a
on
people
quite a
have.
few of these videos, and
Yep.
you're
He
quite a
lives.
handsome kitty.
Well, believe it or not, he actually was born on a farm, a regular farm, not like some of the stuff you hear on the ASPCA commercials. He was on my uncle's farm. He was a farm cat.
Oh,
Basically, here in the Midwest, they got cats out there to, keep down the mice, the rats, keep them out of the grain and stuff. Georgie, cut that out. And usually they're afraid of people. I don't know what it is, but usually they're almost like strays. They'll let you feed them, but they won't come near you. But this little guy, he would come up to everybody. He would let us pet him. And my aunt said, if you want him, take him home with you. And here he is. So,
yeah. We we had some pretty friendly. I know some pretty friendly farm cats up here in Ohio myself.
mm,
Not all farm cats are vicious, pernicious, and so forth.
well, yeah, little buddy. Yeah, I remember when I first took him to the vet, the doctor couldn't even believe how tame he was. I could
Yeah,
hear him right through the door saying, I cannot believe he's that tame. Because that's pretty unusual.
yeah.
You little buddy.
Well, yeah. I like I said, I and it's because I'm more of a dog person myself, but I love cats too.
Yeah, I love them both. They're great animals.
Yeah. And they're they're definite I would definitely consider them better companions than some of the people out there who think it's a good idea to have reptiles as pets.
Yeah, that's true. They don't purr when you scratch them behind the ear. Inside joke. Hey, buddy. But yeah, I agree. What's the matter, Georgie? You think it's bedtime? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Hey, don't eat the
Yeah, I'm
microphone.
afraid he's right.
Yeah, it is getting kind of late.
So
So,
I want to thank you, movie fan, and everybody else who came to this little live stream for coming to get to know me, and hopefully we can and have some other things like this in the future.
hopefully, we'll see what happens next. And hopefully
But
soon we could collab on Redwald. I would love to do that.
okay, well, either 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 you can let Thomas know about that, or I can.
Oh, I'm sure we both will in one way or another. It all depends how our schedules work. So,
Yeah. Although, one more thing before we go,
hmm,
I am going to tell you right now that that as far as as the villains are concerned in Brian Jakes's works, there is one villain in the Redwall roster who I would consider even worse than Clooney.
who would that be?
Her name is Sarmina Green Eyes. She was a old cat who ruled Mossflower before Martin the Warrior came there.
Oh, really? Hmm.
Yeah, the story went that before Martin the Warrior came into Mossflower Country, it was the domain of wildcats.
Wow.
Sarmina's father, Lord Verdaga Green Eyes, had actually taken over the country many decades earlier,
Hmm.
and by the time Martin came to Mossflower, Verdaga had gotten sick and had left most of the rule to his daughter, Sarmina, who
Hmm.
was much worse than he.
Hmm. Yikes.
In fact, Sarmina was so cruel that most of the woodlanders who lived in settlements around Verdaga's fortress had to leave because Sarmina was demanding too harsh of taxes to feed their soldiers.
Wow.
And her idea of ruling included things like forcing the children into work in the
Hmm.
fields, beating and mistreating woodlanders, and
Yikes.
if any creature didn't do what she wanted, she would put every family, even the children, into the cells of the fortress dungeons. And she would put the children in separate cells from their parents.
Yikes. That's cruel. Very cruel.
But that's not as bad as how she came to be Queen of Mossflower in the first place. Collaborating with a healer vixen named Fortunata, she poisoned her father and framed her younger brother Gingivier for the crime.
Typical evil ruler. Always kills their parents off. That way they can get the power.
Yep.
Yep.
So just wanted to put that in, and just wanted to add that. What you think?
I think that's pretty interesting, actually, because I hadn't read the books. I just seen the series. But yeah, I really need to start reading those one of these days. So,
well, if you have any, if you or Thomas have any questions about that, I'm your guy, because I'm pretty much a Redwall scholar at this point.
Awesome.
I'm pretty much an animal fantasy series scholar in general at this point.
Sweet. That's awesome. Yeah, Skystub said later and later to everybody. So later, bro.
All right. Well, take care. Everyone, thank you for coming tonight, and I will and I'll see you later.
Yep.
Bye.
So long.